Hey, welcome to the very first episode of Chai Me a River. I'm your host, Shane Lamba, proudly bisexual, chronically misidentified, and officially tired of being asked if I'm Middle Eastern. Now don't get me wrong, Middle Eastern people, gorgeous, beautiful, powerful, iconic eyebrows, but also not me, but also me. For those who know me, I have luscious eyebrows, bushy eyebrows. That's been my characteristic. This episode is called How I Became an Accidental Egyptian in a Queer Bar. Or in other words, are you Persian? Are you? On this episode, we're going to dive into that weird, low-key, soul-crushing feeling of being perceived one way and never truly being seen for who you are. Ever walk into a room and somehow everyone thinks that you're their hot Persian friend when all you really want was for someone to recognize that you're Indian, you're not Persian. Yeah, Indian people can be hot too. Society has just told us and you that we're not. Now, today we're going to talk a little bit about what happens when your actual identity just never shows up in the room. Why South Asian folks often get erased or bundled into being brown and using that category to describe themselves. And really how exhausting it can constantly be to introduce yourself, not just by your name, but by your existence. And man, I have a bajillion stories about that. We'll sprinkle in some good-natured shade, some mild existential dread, and maybe just a moment of clarity. So grab your chai, grab your iced coffee, or in this case, maybe grab your shawarma wrap. Just eat something, bitch, and let's get into it. So let's kind of jump into a time when I was mischaracterized. And like I mentioned, right, constantly having to reintroduce yourself. Let's talk about this one time I was in Long Beach. For those who love the Long Beach gay scene, it's great. The bars are wonderful. The people are the color. You get the flavor. You get the spice. You get all of it right. But the one thing that's really funny is whenever I go to a bar, whether it's a queer bar or it's a regular straight bar, which is, kind of boring anyway, but when you just go to a place, people are always asking you, or asking me, are you Persian? Are you Persian? Are you Middle Eastern? Oh, you must be Egyptian. But it's never like, are you Indian? Like, oh, that's so cool, you're Indian. And for those who know Indian people, for those who have engaged with Indian people, also who know Punjabi people like myself, you know that there's little characteristics that can help you identify like who and what an Indian person is, right? For instance, being Punjabi, we wear these things called kardas, which are our bracelets, usually on our right or left hand. Pretty identifiable. But again, I grew up in the Bay Area where the mass amount of people are Asian, where they're Indian. So like for me, that was like a no-brainer. Also being Indian, it's like a no-brainer. They're part of your community. However, this one time in Long Beach, I had gone out with my friends and we went to Mine Shaft. For those who know Mine Shaft, shout out to Mine Shaft. It's a great bar, great music, great people. But there's this little taqueria that sits outside Mine Shaft where, you go after you drank 16 vodka sodas and then throw in a couple of tequila sodas because you're crazy and you mix. And then you also drank a couple of White Claws in the Uber there. And then you also shotgunned a beatbox, but you didn't finish the beatbox, so you threw it on the ground, and then it's there afterwards. Yeah, so anyway, that little taqueria outside. We're getting our little tacos, we're getting our little quesadilla moment, carne asada, because I eat beef, I know I'm a bad Indian. But anyway, this one guy comes up and he's like, hey guys, he's like, have you ever been here before? And we're like, yeah, we've been to this taqueria, or we've had a taco, we've had a quesadilla. And he's like, oh, they're just so good, you like it. And he comes up to me and he's like, he's like, can I ask you, are you Egyptian? Are you Middle Eastern? And I'm like, no, I'm not. I was like, yes, because I'm a cunt. And I want to know, what you have to offer. I was like, yes, I want to see what you think I am. He's like, oh, you look like you're Egyptian, or you look like you might be Moroccan or Middle Eastern. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Keep guessing. He's like, that's it. Bitch, I was like, that's it? I was like, did you take geography in high school? He's like, well, you just look that way. And I'm like, well, I'm not. I'm Indian. He's like, oh, wow. I just, never would have expected that. And I was like, oh, again, you think that Indian people are not hot, or you think that Indian people are not gay enough to be here, or bi enough to be here, or enough to be out at a bar, let alone, hanging out with their friends, and let alone eating Mexican food and having a taqueria moment. But I want to share that story because I feel like there might be instances where other people have felt that way, where you go to a bar, you go to a queer space, or you go to any type of space, and a lot of the times people don't recognize you for being Indian, and they have this image that Indian people are just the nerds, they're just the comic relief, they're just the long lost love interest, or they're a person that is kind of on the sidelines. We're never really there up front with a lot of the people, right? But really in that moment, I felt mischaracterized. I felt different. I felt othered again. Even though I'm so proud of who I am, I'm so confident in who I am, there's instances when people can make me feel really shitty. People can make me feel like I'm not enough. And that's been something I've struggled with a lot. And really, when we think about what happens when your actual identity never shows up in the room, othering is one of those things, right? You feel alone, but you also find community in other ways, right? I mean, I think for me, I find community by just having good friends and not really caring too much about what people think, who I look like, or what I look like, even though I'm talking about it on this fucking episode. So yeah, I do care a lot. I do care a lot about what people think of me. Even though I come off as this hard knock bitch, this Aquarius ass airheaded bitch, I do care what people think of me. I do. It's human nature. I think we all do. We all fucking care about how we're perceived. Because, let's be real, social media, society, real life has created these categories of wanting validation from folks, right? Likes, follows, shares, which obviously you guys should do to this podcast. But it's inevitable. It's inevitable to not care about how people perceive you, because we are in this day and age where digital media, where social media literally runs through our veins. I mean, we're in an era where using your phone is like reading a fucking book. Well, no one fucking does that anymore because they don't fucking know where India is on a map. They think it's in the Middle East, which also is not really a real region. Not that I think of. Well, anyway, so I do care a lot. I care a lot about how I'm perceived, because Indian people are never perceived as the hunk, the cutie, the love interest, the person that someone wants to be with, right? We're always perceived as the nerds, the geeks, I guess the ones that nobody really wants. And that can really be hard on your mental health. That can really be hard on the way you view yourself. I mean, granted, I've never had body image issues, but it can really be hard on people like that too. I have struggled with anxiety, and a lot of my anxiety is rooted in this kind of idea that I was not perceived appropriately, perceived like I was desired, Anyway, you know what? It just came to me that I mentioned mineshaft. And I remember actually this one time in Long Beach, I was making out with this really cute Latino boy. He's a little 5'7" shorty, soft skin, some would call them pussy bottoms. And we're just making out. We're going at it, okay? We're fucking gnawing at each other's fucking mouths like a fucking jackhammer. And we're making out in the middle of Pacific Avenue in downtown Long Beach. Going at it. I was like, this is great. This guy's cute. I don't know if I'm going to go back to his place. I don't know if he's going to come back to my place. And then he pulls me away and he's like, you're Persian, right? I should have fucking known. The whole night he was calling me Habibi. I should have fucking seen it coming. I knew it. So this just goes to show that I should have known. I should have known better. To not trust these boys at the bars. You know what I realized? Most of you guys don't even know who the fuck I am. I'm Shane Lamba if you're nasty, and 30 years old, proudly bisexual, as I mentioned earlier. A little bit more about me. I live in Orange County in California, so if anyone's in OC, hit me up, or don't hit me up. I also work in public health. I do a lot of research, healthcare research. I'm very passionate about LGBTQ health, veteran health, as well as trying to understand how we can have a lot more equity in the types of programming available in healthcare, right? Or just in our communities. But when I think about communities, I'm also very vocal about wanting to be represented properly, right? And adequately. We see all the positive stereotypes a lot of the times of people, and I'm talking about Middle Eastern people, and I love y'all, love the eyebrows. But, certain groups within our gay community have positive stereotypes. And I don't want to be a bitch, but I am. I'm going to harken on the fact that Latino guys and Latino girls are often highly regarded. We got the Arabs, we got the Middle Easterns, we got the people, and then obviously we got the whites. But we'll talk about those bitches later. But we got the whites who kind of set the stage for all of us. And honestly, let's be fucking real. It's the white bitches that actually ruin it for all of us. It's the white twinks, exactly. If you know who you are. It's the white fucking twinks. Well, I shouldn't say white twinks. It's just the white gays in general, right? There is a level to which we all compare ourselves, the way we center ourselves, like I mentioned earlier, to this whiteness. And I think that is actually the thing that's kind of ruining our sense of self, right? I believe, people have the sense of self. We have our sense of identity. But sometimes it gets withered. It gets withered by the sense that we aim to be white. We aim to center ourselves around that. And I don't want that to be the only case of my existence, and I don't think that's my existence. I think there are moments and pockets where we all feel like we need to be closer to the W, but sometimes we can be closer to the B for brown. Not bitch. But in my case, both. Well, actually, in my case, 3. Brown, bi, and a bitch. Triple B. BBB. Better Business Bureau. Okay, I love that. Well, not really. I don't like Better Business Bureau. They're kind of fucked up. But anyway, I just lost my train of thought. What I was trying to say is that sometimes we do center ourselves to whiteness, but it's not the only way to push ourselves and kind of bloom our identities, right? I think we need to move away from that. But it is because of that we have these stereotypes, that we have negative stereotypes about specific groups of people. And when you are already a marginalized community, and then on top of that, you're another minority, you kind of layer yourself like a fucking onion. You're like an onion. You peel one back, it stinks. You peel the other one back, it fucking stinks. You peel the third one back, it even fucking stinks more, and you start crying. You start fucking crying. I don't know why I'm talking like this, but yeah, the onions. I don't even know why the fuck I was talking about onions. I do like onions though. If you're an Indian bitch and you eat onions like raw, because we like things raw. If you eat the onions raw, then you're a real homie. Because if you eat the onions raw like you eat the pussy of the bottoms, especially the Latino ones, girl, because that shit is raw, honey. That shit, they put the whole fucking Dove bar up in their ass. I'm sorry, I don't even know where the fuck we're going, but this is where we're gonna go in this show. We're gonna get raunchy, we're gonna get serious, because I can be both. We're also gonna get ugly because, well, I'm not ugly. But we're going to do all these things because at the end of the day, Chime Your River is about bringing together like-minded cunts. So if you are, and I'm looking at you, bitch, on this camera, because there's another one over there. I'm going to take these glasses off too. If you are a like-minded cunt and you want to talk about chai, well, not really, I'm the chai. If you want to talk about drama, people, dare I say it, faggots, then you better subscribe. Throw some comments and throw some things that I should explore, because I'm really looking to explore myself, which I'm going to do after this with, my someone. And I'm also looking to explore topics and connect with people because I think it's really important. I can't see now. Which one is this? I'm putting that. It's really important to explore yourself. Talk. I don't know where the fuck I'm going with this. But anyway, if you like this episode, tell me you liked it by following and throwing a little heartsy face emoji or whatever the fuck you want. I mean, honestly, Shu, if you're a sugar daddy, I'm going to be real with you. I'm about to be unemployed because of President Cheeto Trump. So if the sugar daddies or the sugar mamas, because remember, I like them both, want to drop any digits, email me and we'll set up a situationship because I'm trying to get my student loans paid off. A girl got her master's degree, and actually she has a lot of degrees, which I can talk about another time. But yes, if you like the shit, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends. I just realized I'm sweating underneath this shirt, so I should probably stop recording because I need to figure out this sweat issue. Yes, but thank you for coming.